I have tried a lot of marker brands, and I have quite a few opinions on them. So I thought it would be fun to do a little series of quick reviews on each of them. I'm going to start off with the worst markers I've tried. Master's Touch. Master's Touch is Hobby Lobby's store brand of art supplies, and let me tell you something, these markers are deceiving. They're affordable and they have an excellent brush nib. It feels a lot like a Copic nib actually. They're not exactly the same, but they're pretty dang close. But let me tell you, right now, they are not worth the nib. They have two major issues that are very hard to ignore. First of all, some of the colors, especially the oranges and reds, stain adjacent pages. There will be a faint imprint of what you colored on the pages in front of and behind what you drew. Ever since I first discovered that, I've avoided using those specific colors like the plague, and they've just been sitting on my shelf untouched for years. And now moving on to the next issue. Something weird happens after you've had them for a while. The ink starts to solidify on the nib. It looks very, very gross, and I call it the glompies. Now obviously, you don't want to color with a glompified marker. You'll get weird patches of saturated ink in your drawing. There is a way to remove the glompies, but it's only a temporary solution. If you fill the corner of a plastic baggie with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, you can dissolve the glompies and clean up your nib a little bit. However, mark my words, the glompies will come back. And even before they come back, your markers will not work the same as they used to. You can see here, this is a drawing that I did with some markers that were formerly glompified, but that I tried to clean up with that plastic bag alcohol technique. And the red and the green were the markers that I used that I had cleaned up. But as you can see, it still left saturated patches and like it left some weird textures, which it worked out in this case with the rock, because now it gives it a neat texture that kind of resembles a rock, but it did kind of make the arm darker than I wanted it to be. It came out really dark and patchy, which I was a little bummed about at first, but then when I posted it and mentioned that, someone commented that it looks like he has a birthmark, and I thought that was pretty cute. So Ruth, if you're watching this, thanks for pointing that out, because I actually really like it now. But that doesn't excuse the markers for not working the way that they should. Also, when I tried to open one of the glompy markers, the ink around the cap had solidified so much that I couldn't get the marker open. Instead, the whole inner part of the marker popped out of place. So, in case you were ever curious, this is what the inside of a marker looks like. It's like some weird spongy material encased in a flexible layer of plastic. I eventually managed to get the cap off, and you can see here how disgusting it looks. So I've been holding on to these unusable markers for some time now because I wanted to make a video on them, and now that I'm finally making this video, I have no reason to keep them anymore, so I sorted through them all. The top row are the markers that don't seep or glomp. The bottom row are the ones that do seep and or glomp. Some of them do both. My collection was literally halved after I got rid of all the bad markers. Here are the ones that seeped. And here are the ones that glomped. I would strongly recommend that you just don't buy Master's Touch at all, but if you really want to try them, avoid these colors specifically. Now moving on to the Michaels brand, Artist Loft. These markers are also terrible. I don't have all that many Artist Loft markers, so I can't really confirm if there are any colors that will dye adjacent pages, but I do know for a fact that these do glomp as well. I checked all of them and once again threw out the bad markers, and this is what I was left with. 4 measly colors. I'm really bummed about having to throw away some of these colors because I really liked them. I'll just have to hunt down some alternatives from a more trustworthy brand. So yeah, don't buy Artist Loft either. And one more thing, I also have 6 Artsmith markers, which is the Joann's store brand. Now, I'm not going to make a proper review on these because I haven't had them for very long, but I honestly don't have high hopes for them either. Once again, their brush nib is great, but they have the same color system as Artist Loft and the same barrel shape as Master's Touch. I think all three of these brands might be made by the same manufacturers, and then the different companies slap their own branding on them. I can't confirm that, so take that with a grain of salt. This is just my theory. But if that's true, then I expect these to glomp in the next few months or years. I really shouldn't have bought them in the first place, but I was curious about them. For now, they seem to be working fine, but if I notice any glomping on them, I'll give you an update in the comments of this video. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about these markers. I tried to keep the video brief because I honestly prefer when review videos are short and to the point. So I hope that you guys also appreciate short videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.